Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're watching us here on what was formerly Gamecocks Inside, I promise you are on the right channel. This is SEC Live here at the Voice of College Football. I am your host, as always, Lucas Hill. I'm joined by my co-host of Alabama at the Voice of College Football, Jackson Johnson. And why not kick off a very special SEC Live here? We're bringing SEC Live back. Why not start it off with the man, the myth, the legend, the voice of South Carolina himself, Cornbread Cowboi, a.k.a. Ori Lee Kennedy. Ori, good to see you, my friend. It's been a while. I was trying to get your ass on here for the longest time. Here you are, though, man. Good to see you, and how are you?
Man, I appreciate all the kind words, man. It's good to be here. Of course, I'm always down to talk football. You know, being a big fan of all things going on in the South, man. SEC all the way, but of course, Gamecocks is my heart. So, go Cox, baby.
Yeah, man. We're gonna get into a lot of Gamecocks later on in the show, but man, I want to talk to you about your career. You obviously have a massive following on Instagram, almost 700,000 followers already. Talk to me about that, how you got started in your entertainment career and just to where you are now.
Pretty much, man. I mean, I could give you the long, complicated story, the short story, but I'll give you kind of short, man. Really, just I've just always kind of had a presence online, just like putting out, my original thoughts and stuff. And then, of course, when when TikTok came out, then of course after that, Instagram got Reels and Facebook, and I just kind of consider, live action memes, like a little miniature music videos. I call it modern day bathroom reading, where all these, videos. Of course, I always rock the vintage gear with the old country songs, and it takes people back. It's a big nostalgia thing. But anyways, that kind of just took off, just playing around. I never, these days a lot of people go on social media to, whether to, monetize it or whatnot. I was just kind of playing around and kind of found myself in these certain situations where I could monetize it, and I just kept doing it. And then I started emceeing, shows, festivals, and I got to do like a movie. I got to do all these cool travel appearances, meet all. It's been a wild ride, man. And but I'm still the same old me, man. And I don't miss my Saturdays, college football, no matter where I'm at, what I'm doing. I'm always making sure that I'm in front of that TV screen every Saturday, man, watching all the games. But it's been a fun ride, man.
You're a big fullback guy, aren't you?
Yeah, so my brother was actually like all-state fullback, linebacker, all that. I was actually, it's funny, a lot of people are like, oh, man. But I'm a big advocate for the fullback. I believe, a lot of people say when Dale Earnhardt Sr. died or when this happened or that, somebody saying the wussification or pussification of America. Of course, people say when we quit using the fullback, that's when we started seeing decline where men being men and all that good stuff. And, I represent that. I try to be like the spokesman for the fullback and all that good stuff. And, of course, man, I love when teams throw fullback out there, and no matter how the formation looks, whether it's in the goal line or third and short, man, it's always good to see the big guys out there, carry the rock, or make a good
tell them
block.
about Mo Brown.
Dude, man, that first drive, for all the Gamecocks fan out there, that first game against Virginia Tech, we were so hyped, all the hype the season. Mo Brown comes out there. Technically, I understand it's not a cowboy collar, but I said it was because it sounds good. But it's technically a what's the name of it, actually? Because there's a neck roll, a cowboy collar. Right. Anyways, it was poking out the damn top of the back of his jersey. And, man, he just looked badass out there wearing the 44, man. And he's high-fiving Beamer. I'm like, this is our year, man. We're using the fullback. And then, of course, it ain't been the year we wanted, man. But I've seen a lot of teams use the fullback this year, man. I've seen 44. I've seen that number out there quite a bit, man. And I think a lot of teams are, everybody runs a spread now. I think you're going to start to see a lot of teams throw in a little random, type fullback type tight end in the backfield. I
think the fullbacks turned into more of like that H-back type of back at the end of the day, just kind of more that flexible type of guy, except he ain't wearing anything in the 40s. But I like my fullbacks wearing in the high 30s, in my opinion. I like that 38, 39 action, bro.
I love it. Hey, I love anything. Hell, I mean, 30s, 40s, I'm all for it, man. I love Dude, I love odd numbers. I love when you see a wide receiver. I mean, you don't even see him wear 80s anymore, but when a running back's wearing 47 or, all these pretty boy numbers, I mean, yeah, like these guys trying to wear all these low single digits. Man, we're like 31 at, tailback or something like that. But I just love seeing stuff like that. I love old school style football. I love the history of football, sports in general, man. I just like to see good old fashioned old school type of football being played. Of course, the fullback is the front runner in that style of football.
There you go.
Ori, I just got a text from our guy Dalton. You probably saw him on Friday. He said he took a gummy and went to the titter Friday night after docks.
Yeah, man, that's so funny. I was supposed to go with him. I was So I was hosting a karaoke party in Greenville Friday. It was a costume Halloween thing, and but then I had a private.
I got a question to ask you about that. I thought you were going as Dusty Rhodes. What happened to that? Why'd you go to the skeleton?
Man, so I switched it up because it rained all that week.
Oh yes,
dude, right. It rained bad all that week, and of course I live out here in the sticks,
right?
And I just didn't feel like driving in the rain. I almost did one day. It was kind of drizzling, and as soon as I hit the road, got on the highway, it was pouring down on the way to Aiken. And I'm like an old man now. When it's like nighttime or raining, I don't really like to drive. And so yeah, I just didn't get the stuff to make it. But I found that boner skeleton costume. That shit was solid.
Jackson, when you get a minute, I need you to go look at it. I think he said a world record. How many push-ups was it? Like 14 or 15?
Yeah. I think I kept going. That night, I probably might have got up to 69. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
I can't, bro. What? This is awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time. But then the next day we did a private party up in Clemson for a fraternity, and that was crazy too. And then Sunday we went golfing, and this guy, they had some kind of tournament going on, and he won, and he filled it up with beer, this huge trophy, and then we were passing around the trophy, drinking beer out of it. So I think that's probably when I got sick. One of those three.
Oh, my gosh, dude. Well, you were at Clemson? I mean, I get the money.
Yeah, so there's a band. Sometimes I'll go on tour, or I'll like do shows with them sometimes. And, I just pretty much MC, and then I'll go up on stage maybe once or twice to sing a song with them. But Silverado, we hooked up a couple years ago, and then ever since then we're just like I'm like friends with the band, and pretty much. They're playing in Mississippi this weekend. I'm supposed to be there, but I'm not making that. But yeah, man. But it's weird. It's been a crazy ride, man. Your weekends. It's kind of where you work or where your stuff goes on for me. So a lot of times on the weekends, I'm doing something, whether it's for work or for fun or invited to something like whether it's Nashville, whatever. So it's. And being 39 years old, man, all this stuff kind of happened in the middle of the prime of my life. It's definitely different than the normal 9 to 5 now.
Well, I mean, you're still in the prime, so that's perfect for you.
There you go.
Yeah, man. We'll see where it goes, man. Like I said, I feel like I hit the lottery in some ways, man. I get to do what I really like to enjoy for almost a living in a way. But there's some times where I miss, picking up, slamming the hammer. You know what I mean? Like, working. I've done like hard labor jobs my whole life pretty much. And there's a lot of days where I miss, where I'll wake up and like, oh shit, like I got to be at work, but I'm like, relax, you can sleep in a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, man, when this movie comes out that I did, I think I'm going to, it isn't out yet, but when it does, I'm going to get an agent for that. And, hopefully be able to do some more feature films, whether it's through cameos or just small parts. I think that's be my bread and butter, Yeah. But I just found the script I turned down. It was Zombie Sluts.
Oh no.
Oh wow.
I'm not knocking the guy. If the guy sees this, I doubt he will, but not knocking director or the people in it, but it was some kind of B-rated comic book movie where I was playing some bartender, and it was like a zombie stripper killer movie or something, which is, I just didn't have the time to do it. But, and it's funny, anytime I get a script sent to me for something, whether I don't get the part or not, it's always like redneck or hick, So I'll play
Right.
those roles. I'm down.
What's the newest movie that you got coming out soon?
So the one that I did is called Stranglehold. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm just a small character in it. But I do have speaking parts and whatnot, and I have a role in it. But evidently they don't tell me. I'll probably find out the day they release the trailer or something. It'll
They're
probably be
releasing
on
the
like
trailer
Netflix
tonight.
or Amazon Prime, something like that.
Okay. You said they're releasing the trailer tonight, or they releasing
No,
it
I
later?
said I probably won't find out until the day they do.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
But I
Just
mean,
make-
I don't know how that goes, man. You got to realize, dude, I'm from a small town. I never thought in a million years I'd be doing something like, I remember when I got to do my first music video, I'm like, man, this is like really cool. Like they sit you down, put makeup on you, or like do your hair, or dress you. And I'm like, what, this is crazy to me. And then you show up to a movie set with your name on a movie trailer, and you're just like, holy shit. And John Candy's son is like beside me in his trailer, and
oh,
like
you got to hang out with John Candy's kid?
yeah, dude. So I'm not gonna lie, dude. I was I was new to this, so I was kind of nervous. I was like a fish out of water, you know what I mean? And he was beside me, and he was very welcoming and friendly. And then I didn't realize at the time he looked really familiar. I could tell in his eyes. I mean, this guy looks familiar. And then people started talking to him. Some other guys walked up, and it was John Candy's son.
Wow.
His name's Chris. He's a really nice guy. But how I got involved with that movie was I became friends online with these guys. They're brothers, and one's the director, one's the writer. But they started following me, and we kind of, hey man, I like your stuff. Ah, yeah, we'll keep up. And then out the blue, I got he was like, hey man, you want to be in a movie? I was like this dude's done he's done some like Hot Tub Time Machine, The Office. He's done I knew when he asked me, it wasn't gonna be like no shit that was gonna be like on Tubi. You know what I mean? I knew it was gonna be like some good shit.
You
And
found some
I was like, all
we
right,
found some
I'm
gems
gonna
on
be like,
Tubi.
what's that?
We found some gems on Tubi though.
Oh, I'm not hating on Tubi, but my friend, I was in Savannah, Georgia. I was actually kind of hungover that day, and my friend, anyways, they was like, all right, you got to audition for it. The production company, they got to approve you. They can't just give you a part. You got to audition for it. I was like, all right, and the girl was like, man, she was like, you need to audition for it right now and send it over. This is a good opportunity. I was like, I don't know, I'm hungover as hell. She was like, well, supposedly the show Friday Night Lights, Coach Taylor.
Right.
Supposedly, when he auditioned for that role, he was hungover or something. That's what she told me. And said
No shit. For
he didn't
real?
think he was going to get it, but I guess when you're hungover, you've been drinking the night before, you don't feel that good. You're a little vulnerable, I guess. You're kind of, I don't know. It's anyways, I did it and it worked. And when I sent the interview in, when I sent my audition in, they reached out to me a week later, and I was like, oh, I didn't get it. They was like, no, actually, we liked it a lot, and we're going to give you like a whole role character with speaking parts and all. I was like, holy shit, hell yeah.
What?
So I had to audition again. And
Wow.
but man, you know how those movies take? You can film a movie, and then it won't come out for like 2 years. So
Right.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's what I hope to keep doing, man. Opportunities, it's a roller coaster ride for me, man. For months, won't shit go on, and then you'll get an email or something for a good opportunity. So I'm just kind of riding the wave. I always said, man, when I quit my job full time 3 years ago, I was 36. I told myself, I said, shit, if I ain't hit it by the time I'm 40, I'm going back to work, and it don't matter because, so when I quit my job, I was sitting there, I was like, I got invited to a show by Cody Johnston's like tour manager. He's like, hey, yeah, we all want to meet you. Come to the show. Cody Johnston all wants to meet you, hang out. And I was sitting there cutting brisket. I was like, I can't, I got to work. I'm sitting there fucking cutting brisket at work. I'm like, what the hell am I doing, man? And I was telling them, they were like, Ori, what are you doing? I was like, yeah, you're right. So I was like, all right, I'm going to start going to these opportunities, to do cool stuff, I guess, whatever, based on, my content. And then I did a show with Marcus King. He invited me to me, and he asked me to go on stage and introduce him. And I did that. And next thing you know, festivals and bars and all these people started emailing me and contacting me, like, hey, will you come here? We'll pay you to come to our bar or our festival and MC or host or whatever. I'm like, holy shit. Like, I can do this for a living and get paid for it. So anyway, that's kind of how it started and where I'm at as far as all that stuff. But
dude, that's I say this all the time to a lot of people. take advantage of the opportunities that are given in front of you, and the connections that you make along the way with your social media presence is
Yeah.
going to go so far. You're a shining example of that.
Oh, dude, for sure, man. It's really just putting yourself out there. Whether you're doing what you're doing, starting a podcast, you might be like, oh man, there's a bunch of these, or it's all about putting yourself out there. And don't worry about the haters say they just hating because they ain't doing shit any damn way.
No,
Agreed.
Dude, when I started out on TikTok, because I would always post on Facebook, but as far as TikTok goes, it took me a while to like figure out kind of like the theme or how I wanted to put myself out there. It's kind of people ask me like, is it a character? Is it not? It's kind of like an exaggerated version of myself at times, and just what I think is fun. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people that do content, they're like, all right, what's gonna work? Like you have to be yourself. You have to do what you think is either what you like or what you think is funny, or you have to be yourself and do it because you enjoy doing it. If you're doing it because you don't enjoy doing it and you're trying to follow this formula, people are going to see that and notice that, and you're just going to get burnt out anyways.
right.
So I'm just like this. I'm just a fun uncle. I don't have any kids. I ain't married. I'm just having fun, brother, and just cutting up on the internet is how I see it.
That's how I've discovered just finding your own online social media presence is that how do you stand out from everybody else? And that's what we strive to do every single day whenever we walk and we do things like this, whether like you mentioned, starting a podcast, starting your own, basically your comedy channel and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What is going to stand out that makes you unique? And I'm going to ask you this too, Ori. When 3 years ago, when you really started this, what was your motivation behind it all?
Being a fucking loser. No, man. But I no. There's a couple with no. No, I'm serious, man. Failure, rejection, failure. So, I didn't grow up. I mean, when I was a kid growing up, I mean, by no means, my parents, they took us to Disney World. We went to vacation stuff. And by no means, as a kid growing up, and I think I grew up like poor. But now that you move out of a small town, you realize, oh, everybody don't live like this. But anyways, just. You get older. I mean, I was 36 working at a barbecue restaurant. I wasn't, big dick swinging, making money. I've worked a lot of construction and made good money and dead end jobs, and nothing. I always had like these different jobs bouncing around. I've done about anything you could think of, man. And I've always been, I was a class clown kind of growing up in school. Whether I was working construction, they would always keep me around because I was good for morale. And that's just how I got by in life. I had fun. I like to hang out at the bars, sing karaoke. I just was always like to have fun, and and people always was magnetized to that. Like a lot of people, they try to judge you off your content. How's this guy is, who he's like. I mean, I'm a down to earth, friendly, give you the shirt off my back kind of guy. That's how I always been. Yes, man, no, sir, whatever. I'm just but anyways, you kind of struggle. You living week to week, trying to make it in life, and you see people around, driving nice cars, living in big houses, getting married, doing all these things that are considered successful. And and I'm at the time. I remember I had like my second DUI. I was like walking back and forth to work, like pretty much I was like at the bottom of society, but I still was myself, just a good old boy. But I was living down in a city in Tampa, and just kind of just. People like me, and I was friends with everybody, and just being positive and having fun, and but at the end of the day, when I started doing this, what I was saying, like failure and rejection, man, that shit is true, dude. Like you hear Tom Brady, dude. Why do you think Tom Brady's so great? Because the motherfucker was sitting on the bench, and he's like, I'm better than this guy. It's kind of like this, like man, like say it's this girl you in love with or something, like she with that douchebag. Like this guy right here ain't got nothing on me. It's just through it's relationships. It could be your job, career. You always feel like you're being marginalized or like you know what I mean? Like treating like you the bottom. Like nah, motherfucker. Like I got something to offer in this world. I'm gonna be somebody. God dang it. You know what I mean?
Come on.
And anyways, I just always had that attitude. Not necessarily a chip on my shoulder, but my sense of humor just kept me going through stuff. And anyways, when I started, making content and it started actually being successful, I just put everything inside of me into that, and from my personality to the things I like to the thing it's a deep, it hits people deep. I think a lot of times, for example, I remember when I was making this content, like older women, of course, would be like, not trying to hit you up, you know what I mean? But no, seriously, older women would hit me up. No, they'd be like, dude, like my dad passed away, a couple of years ago. I can't get in the Christmas spirit. Somebody sent me your videos, and like it cheers me up because you remind me of my dad. And so also I'm having fun, but I'm bringing joy to people, whether it's through laughter. And like I said, my stuff, there's no. Some people might oh, it's so great. I mean, I love everybody that gives me compliments, but it's to me it's not a genius thing. I'm just doing what comes out my mind and just having fun. It's like quick bathroom reading material.
Right.
Women always like, because I got 80% men followers. They're like, who are you? My husband wants a picture of you. Who are you? I'm like, well, when your husband's in there taking a shit and he's on the toilet too long, I might pop up on his phone here and there. But, But no, seriously, dude. But that's what drove me to keep doing it. Because at the end of the day, I told someone, I was like, man, if I had a job at a time, 6 figures ain't that much. But before COVID, I was like, if I had a career stable, I might have not had the drive to doing that, but I've always wanted to be in the entertainment business. I've always liked cutting up. I can't sing, but I like to sing. I like to make people feel good. I like to make people laugh. I like to make people feel like they're a part of this life that we all share together, and I like to do that through storytelling. I tell you what, man, I'll simplify it for you. It's like that Bible verse song, and I ain't getting religious on y'all, but that song, "This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine." So pretty much, man, that's all I've done my whole life, and I've ate a lot of shit, and I've made a lot of bad decisions, but I've also been in a lot of bad situations. But I just kept grinding and grinding and grinding, and here I am sitting with y'all, man.
That's awesome, man. That's incredible, man. I mean, your story is just awesome, just in general. I mean, I think that's something that people really need to hear. Like, you can go from someplace, like, it don't matter what age you are.
No,
You can turn whatever you are, and you can make it a successful story, no matter what it may look like.
for sure. I agree 100%, man. And and like I said, and a lot of people ask me, like, how do I do what you do? How do I do this? I'm like, man, what's your story? I was like, what, like younger people, I'm like, get some life experience, dude. Like, fucking hell, I've been through shit. If you get some life experience, then you have a story to tell. And when you have a story to tell, that means you have something to say. And if you have something to say, that means people are going to listen. Okay? That's all it is.
Yes. I think every single one of us has a story to tell, man. And
damn it right, Lucas Hill and Jackson Johnson. By the way, I wanted to tell you this from the get-go. I'm a big fan of the history of NASCAR. I still keep up with it. But you have a wonderful, Ricky Bobby style name. I just want to say I appreciate your parents for naming you that. And Lucas Hill, hey, that's a great name too. I mean, Austin Hill. Did you say you're from Alabama, Jackson?
Yes, I am. I'm basically a few miles away from the border of Tennessee.
I tell you what, man. Are you from Huntsville, or where you at? I mean, right above that. Or are you from Muscle Shoals?
I'm in Madison County, basically in Hazel Green at the moment.
Anyway, it's North Alabama is beautiful, man. I love driving through there, man. It's pretty over there. It's nice up there. What is that lake? What's that lake up there?
Well, we have the Tennessee River. We pass by the Tennessee River anytime we're driving through Huntsville.
Gotcha. That now are y'all pretty much a duo, like a team?
Oh,
yeah. This is our first show together, so yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, congratulations, man! I wish I would have known that. I would have tried to better because first of all, I know this is y'all's first time you're trying to fill out like. All right, you want to ask you don't like, I think Joe Rogan does a good job of that. He doesn't try to be the star of his own show. He lets the guests talk, ask some questions. But, I mean, I guess I should try to, maybe, I don't know. Y'all still so tell me, you say you're from Alabama, and Lucas, you're from where?
Louisiana, Baton Rouge.
So you're LSU Tiger?
Was, yeah.
Man, dude, I was about to tell you, I saw this sick-ass LSU Tiger throwback hat because a lot of people ask me where I get my shit.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is every night I'm laying in bed, dude, instead of watching porn because they banned it, what I'll do is I'll just I'll just scroll eBay. You know what I mean? For like 30 minutes.
Okay.
It's still there in Oregon. That I can promise you there.
Wow.
But no, I'll scroll like eBay or something. I'll just type in like vintage trucker hat, and I might buy one hat. I might buy 3 hats tonight. I might buy one hat in 3 months. I like to find unique stuff, and I went from collecting. So I'll tell you how it started, and it amped up through COVID. So before back then, I would collect all these. So we'll have to go back. So I moved to Tampa. So I moved from a small town to a big city, had culture shock.
Right.
I feel like living in a big city, having a culture shock. It made me grasp on to my roots more, I guess, because I'm a homesick kind of guy. Like if I go somewhere, I got to get back to the South. But anyway, so I grasp onto my roots more. And anyways, that's small town country living, whatever. But anyway, so I started collecting like old country shirts. Whether it's from Randy Travis, the 80s, 90s, whatever I could get my hands on. I collect about every damn artist you can think of. Then I did NASCAR, the old beer shirts. But I like to find the old rinky-dink unique, like Johnson's Bait and Tackle, Daphne, Alabama, with the phone number on it. It's got like a boat on there, like those old kind of hats.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are way more unique to me, and I love doing that. And seeing I get a lot of shit from Gamecock fans on this, but I like to wear stuff from all over mostly South, but you know what? Anywhere in the country. Like I say, Washington on it, because people be like, oh man, I remember that place. It shut down in 1998, but my dad used to love going there. He took me there when I was a kid. Like I love to, because see, a lot of I understand I have like I think everybody on social media has a national following, not just regional. I mean, some people have more regional, but I understand there's people from Minnesota that follow me, that from Rhode Island, from Arizona. So I'm not just gonna do South Carolina, So I try to do a variety of stuff because, it's pretty cool when I will wear a hat or a shirt. Like, man, I know that place. And anyway, it brings me joy, man.
I agree, man. I mean, you can reach from different areas of the United States, and hearing that people know you from there, I think that's kind of cool. What was you've gone on tour for?
No,
or have you
I don't really
stayed
have
mostly in South Carolina?
Like, for example, I can wake up in the morning and have an email. We're like, hey, because a lot of bands tour, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Friday, Saturday. So for example, it could be like, hey, I work for such and such artist at this management. We're filming a music video in Nashville Monday. Can you be here?
Right.
It's one of them kind of things to where, it could be randomly, or it could be like, hey, next year in July, we're doing this. You just kind of go with the flow, man. Like, for example, during the holiday season that's coming up, I might get like some people reach out to me about doing some kind of charity drives for Christmas and stuff. But
I think we lost him. Ori, man, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for hopping on with us. I know he was saying that his battery was running low, but man, we appreciate you hopping on, man. Hopefully we will see you very, very soon, man. You are just an awesome dude just to see.
Man,
Jackson, how about that, man? What a way to start off the SEC Live Rebirth. Myself, once again, guys, Lucas Hill here with Jackson Johnson. We got a lot to break down. We just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, you can follow Cornbread Cowboy at CORNBREAD COWBOI on Instagram. Get that dude close to 700,000 followers on Instagram. Let's take a break. Let's take a break real fast. We'll be right back. You're tuned in to SEC Live here at the Voice of College Football.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
There we go.
All right, Jackson, we have approached the midway point of our show. I know you've got Alabama a lot. Y'all got y'all's call-in show in what, an hour and a half, I'm guessing?
Oh, we've got it at 9 p.m. Central Time. I'm going ahead and putting it on X, just putting it on the Alabama Voice College Football X count, telling people to hop in at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, as Jeffrey and I take your calls on the Crimson Tide.
Hell yeah, man. Hey, man, let's get into what should be another wild weekend of SEC action, man. There is nothing better than what we have planned out for this weekend. Look, last week was the beginning of basically playoff elimination.
Yes.
For majority of the SEC, and it begins, and it still continues, man. November is going to be basically D-Day for a lot of SEC teams. Let's kick it off. Georgia going to Starkville to play Mississippi State. Mississippi State coming off of a come-from-behind win last week against Arkansas. Massive one. One more win away from bowl eligibility. The only thing for Mississippi State is they're going to have to do it either Saturday against a good Georgia team, which I don't know if it's going to have any sort of success. You got to go on the road to Missouri, and then you got the Egg Bowl at the end of the month. Georgia's coming in hot, man. I think that this is probably one of the hottest teams in all of the SEC. They've looked dominant the last couple games. I know they had to claw and find a way to win against a good Florida team that actually had a 73% chance of winning at one point in the game. But
yikes.
Just finding ways to win has been Georgia's forte this year. Who do you have in this one?
Well, I will say, though, it will catch up with the Georgia Bulldogs at some point, either during the season or during the playoffs, because that is not a team that's going to be advancing in the playoffs. But with that being said, I believe the Georgia Bulldogs win this one 28-17 against Mississippi State.
You're calling it that close?
They've been a weird team all year. That's the Georgia Bulldogs for you in a nutshell. I mean, as long as Mike Bobo's their offensive coordinator, they're not going to be advancing very far. But
I've been saying this for a while now, Jackson. I think that Mike Bobo is just he hasn't been the guy for Georgia. I thought since he got one good year one half of a good year out of Carson Beck in 23, then you saw what happened at the end of 2024 with what Carson Beck, how he regressed. I don't know why Kirby decides to hang around with guys like that. I don't think it's going to work out in the end of the day, and I think it's going to hurt them on the worst part when it's all said and done. I do have Georgia winning big in this one, but again, Mississippi State is going to find a way to keep this one close. And you think about it, Jackson, Mississippi State is a couple of plays away from really being 8-1 on this season. If you think about what you had, 2 turnovers against Tennessee that turned into 14 points. You had a blown opportunity where you have a late game interception where you're in field goal range against Florida. And then you had the 17-point blown lead against Texas. So that's 3 games that really flipped the script from Mississippi State being a potential 7 or 8-1 team. And now they're sitting here at 5-4.
It's like watching Charlie Brown at the pitcher's mound. Just a bit close, but then they somehow blow it.
Yeah. Citadel going to Ole Miss. I think this is a tune-up game for Ole Miss. But I will say this. The reason why I mention the Citadel going to Ole Miss, there's no line on this football game. But the reason why I mentioned them, Jackson, is because we may get our first look at Austin Simmons going into this one. I'm not saying that Austin Simmons is going to take the job back from Trinidad Chambliss. There's no way in hell that it's going to happen. But I am curious to see how he improves. He struggled with turnovers early on in the season. How has he gotten better over the course just from working out and getting back into the groove of things since he lost his starting job.
Excellent point, because, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens over in Oxford, but Ole Miss will win 63-10 over the Citadel.
I have this being a shutout, in my opinion, Jackson. I think,
Oh, wow.
look, unless Citadel is able to move the football and run the football against Ole Miss effectively, remember, Ole Miss, a bottom half in run defense, one of the worst run defenses in the SEC as a whole. Let's see what they can do. I don't think they're going to run the football efficiently, but anything can happen. Let's go to Texas A&M going to Missouri. Interesting one here, except for 2:30 kickoff. Texas A&M is the best team in the SEC, hands down. But I am concerned that they have been inconsistent, specifically on the defensive side of the football. Offensively, you can put up 30, 40 points a game, and you can settle for 350 yards, 400 yards, and get away with a couple of wins. But you're going up against an offense that is a lot more competent than what Texas A&M has faced before. Let me tell you what their best win of the season was at Notre Dame. Because of the craziness that's happened in the top 5, A&M has soared all the way to number 3. I do think they still make the playoff because of how weak the rest of their schedule is. However, I am concerned now that I look at where Texas is at defensively and what they did last week against Vanderbilt and what they could bring at the end of the year. But let's focus on Missouri first. I think Missouri's pass rush is really good. I think they're going to find ways to get after Marcel Reed and make him get out of the pocket. The only thing is, are you going to be able to contain him?
I don't think they can contain Marcel Reed. And, of course, they're suffering without Bo Pribula because, out due to injury. But he could come back, as we heard a week or so ago. He could come back from his injury, but we'll wait and see. Honestly, I've got Texas A&M winning 28-21 over Missouri.
You think it's going to be that close?
I think it could be that close, yeah.
We'll see what Matt Zollers does. The guy that started off as the 3rd string quarterback going into this season. And by the way, I think he's a redshirt. This is his true freshman season.
Yep.
So do I think he played well last week? Yes, absolutely. I thought he played well. And I thought he fought his ass off from start to finish against a very good Vanderbilt defense. You were 1 yard away from sending that thing to overtime. Many people are going to forget about that. Anything can happen, man. And anything is going to look. Here's where I'm at whenever it comes to this game. The one thing that Missouri is going to have to do to win this football game is, number one, they're going to have to contain Marcel Reed. They're going to have to generate offense. They're going to have to establish the run game. It's going to be Jaden Roberts and Ahmad Hardy that's going to be carrying the load for the majority of the time.
Yeah.
So if you have a legit chance of winning this football game, it's going to have to start with your 2 big backs. That's just my opinion. What say you?
Agreed. I mean, the run game always helps. Gotta make sure you got your guys going.
It also helps when you've got a really good left tackle as well that Missouri has. I mean, this offensive line has had their struggles, but I think for the most part they've been able to protect Bo Pribula and company for the majority of the part. Now that you're looking at Matt Zollers, I thought they did a good job last week. Auburn and Vanderbilt. This is one where I think people are going to have to pay attention to. Like I said, this is playoff or bust. We're going to have 2 this weekend. Missouri and Vanderbilt are on thin ice. I don't think Texas A&M is. I don't think Alabama is at this point.
No.
But look, Missouri wins out. They're looking at 10-2. You get 2 big wins on the road at Oklahoma, and you get the big win against Texas A&M. You could be seeing yourself in the top 12. Same thing with Vanderbilt. They could very likely run the table and get themselves inside the top 12 at the end of the season too. Let's talk about Vanderbilt, though. Diego Pavia is playing his best football right now. Do I think he played well last week? No, I thought Texas, for the most part, they were able to shut him down. I thought that they kept him in check through the first 3 quarters of the football game. And then Vanderbilt, here they come, making a comeback. They scored 21 in the final quarter, down 34-10, and they were one missed onside kick away from getting the football back and potentially going down and scoring a field goal.
Oh, yeah.
Vanderbilt has to limit the big plays. I don't think that they'll have a problem with that, knowing that what Auburn brings to the table. Hugh Freeze is gone, but Auburn is still going to go 0-3 against Diego Pavia. He went 0-1 whenever he was with New Mexico State, 0-2 last week. He'll be 0-3 at the end of this week.
There we go. I mean, that 2023 matchup where North Carolina State was, not North Carolina, New Mexico State was beating up on Auburn so bad because Auburn was thinking more about Alabama than they were about New Mexico State. And Diego Pavia taught them that lesson. And it's going to be fun seeing Pavia teach Auburn some lessons again this Saturday.
I'm excited to see what this Vanderbilt offense is going to do. I still think they're going to play tempo against this Auburn defense because that's what their game has been. They're a system team. And what separates them from the rest of college football offenses is that Vanderbilt runs on a system. Most offenses are quick to the line of scrimmage and they're rolling. They have a script that they follow too, and they are methodical every single time.
Oh, great.
That they are running their specific plays, if that makes any sense. But here's what Auburn's going to do. DJ Durkin, your new interim head coach, he's going to be your primary signal caller on defense. And I thought he's always, everywhere that DJ Durkin goes, he brings an elite defense. He's going to bring it this weekend. They're probably going to put a spy or two in the middle for Diego Pavia. You cannot allow for him to get outside the pocket, and you cannot allow for your tight ends and your receivers to run free on you. Yeah, Texas gave up 365 yards passing last week. That you can't have that last for Auburn, who's, in my opinion, a much better defense compared to Texas this year. Now, has the level of competition been there? Yes. That's my opinion. But the big difference is that Auburn does not have an offensive identity. They will never have an offensive identity. They don't have a quarterback that they can solidify themselves on to, how should I say this, to rely upon for this weekend. Whether it be Ashton Daniels, who all likelihood is going to take over the rest of the season, or whether it be they preserve Deuce Knight's redshirt season, the choice is theirs. It's up to what Auburn and company decides to do when it's all said and done.
Well, to that point you made about the offense being a disaster for Auburn, that makes me think that we can see Vanderbilt really smack Auburn upside the head. Like, you're going to see Vanderbilt spank Auburn basically like somebody acting up at the grocery store because they didn't get their Fruit Loops in a 31-14 victory. I think Vanderbilt's going to go a little easy on Auburn, just kind of go a little bit easier on them and be like, you know what? You suffered enough.
No, I highly doubt they do, Jackson. Knowing what this coaching staff has done. And I bet you, I don't know if you knew this, Jackson, but Diego Pavia, Tim Beck, and Jerry Kill, all three of those guys were on that same New Mexico State roster that beat Auburn in 2020.
Yes, because I remember Kill was the head coach for 2023.
Yes.
For New Mexico State. Man. Somebody's going to snatch up Tim Beck at some point.
I don't know. I don't know. I think he's a great coordinator, and I think he's a really smart play caller, but I don't know if he's a head coach at the end of the day. I could be very wrong, but that's just me. LSU and Alabama, this is your game, Jackson, that you probably know. a little bit more about. Of course, I kind of do as well, being a Louisiana native myself, but LSU is internal. It is a freaking circus in Baton Rouge. And I talked with Blake Ruffino earlier this week. That video is up now on the SEC channel, so y'all make sure y'all go check it out. And we basically talked about where the state of LSU is at this point in time. It's in a peculiar position that it's not favorable, not even close. So you have an interim, you have a new AD in Verge Osbury. You just got a brand new president. The problem is that you have controversy with those two because the president wasn't aware of the Title IX allegations against Verge Osbury and all the SA assault allegations as well. So, and now there's rumors coming out that say, hey, that wasn't in LSU's criteria in hiring a president and picking a president. So it is a mess. I don't know how this affects the head coaching search at the end of the day, but going into this game, going to Tuscaloosa, I expect for there to be a fight similar to what you had in 2021. Let me tell you what happened in 21. Orgeron, it was very obvious he was going to be fired at the end of the year. But the biggest difference in that football game is that LSU team came out and fought their ass off in Tuscaloosa against arguably probably the second best Tide team that Nick Saban had over in the last 10 years of his tenure. Nobody's going to beat that 09 or 11 roster, in my opinion. Not even the 12 roster, but in the last 10 years. So we're going from his last year was 13, Jackson, or 23?
2023.
Okay, so yes, the last 10 years, that was probably his second best team. That 2020 team was the best one. Listen, you're going to see a fight like this. I expect LSU to cover, but I don't know what to expect if there is any significant improvement from the offensive side of the ball. What have you seen from the Bama side, Jackson?
Honestly, I'm a little worried about our run game still, how we stop the run game, because we got lucky against South Carolina. And luckily, it didn't affect us too much against Tennessee. But that one play that stuck in my head was when we didn't stop Bishop as he scored that second touchdown of the game for Tennessee a few weeks back. Our inability to stop the run game is hurting us, but we can put a ton of pressure on quarterbacks. So if we're putting a ton of pressure on Nussmeier, he's going to be in trouble. If he's in a 3rd and 18 situation where he's got to throw that long ball, he's in humongous trouble.
Right.
But if you get Durham to run the ball against that Tide defense, you're going to be good to go. If you're LSU, you can really make this a game in Tuscaloosa. You're not going to the playoffs, obviously.
No.
But you can put a little bit of a dent in Bama's playoff hopes. Maybe it's not so much a dent, not anywhere near a dent in the playoff hopes, but definitely SEC title hopes.
You would like to. Absolutely, you would like to. You talked about trap games before, Jackson, and you said, and I was on with you during South Carolina week, and you said that this was going to be a trap game. In the back of my mind, I said, oh, hell no. There's no way, and I don't believe that it is going to happen. But I was severely mistaken. And I should have known better that South Carolina was going to bring what they did almost exactly what they did last week. And they were 58 minutes complete with a sure upset, and then chaos ensued.
Yep.
Alabama is going to have to play a complete game this week. I promise you they will.
Oh, they will. No doubt.
And in my opinion, Jackson, I don't think we've seen that yet all this year. You've seen second half adjustments, but you haven't seen a complete game that's been played yet by Alabama. You could say they did that in the Georgia game. Well, I wouldn't say that. I thought Georgia controlled the second half compared to what Bama did. Alabama's got to control all three phases of the game. You got to dominate special teams. You got to dominate on the offensive side of the ball, and you got to dominate on the defensive side of the ball. LSU has to put pressure on Ty Simpson, and you've got to be how to force him to make mistakes and force throws down the field in order for you to pull off an upset. That's how I look at this game, and that's how it's going to end up being when it's all said and done. Florida, by the way, I'll take the points for LSU. I think they'll cover, but my boy Tyler, who's in the chat right now, he's a big Tennessee guy. Are you? Let me ask Tyler. Tyler, are y'all happy y'all on the bye right now? Because let's just be real. And by the way, let me address this. Whoever says that what's his name? That Josh Heupel is going to be James Franklin. It's a stupid take, and you know better than to compare him to James Franklin. First of all, he's in year freaking 3 right now. 22, 23, 24. Never mind, year 4. He's in year 4 right now. He's led you to the college football playoff. He's gotten you a New Year's 6 bowl victory. Are we kidding each other right now? Because the expectations before with Tennessee, you got to be kidding me. All right, my bad, Tyler. It is 5. My bad.
If Tennessee's losing in Gainesville against Florida the week before rivalry week, that narrative will open back up.
If he loses it at Gainesville, I'm gonna. I don't think I'll lose hope, but I do think that you've got to be able to find a way to win in a rivalry game. You haven't beaten Florida in Gainesville
since 2003.
20 years was the last time you beat them in Gainesville.
Yep.
You would have to think this is the year, because there is a significant difference when you look at Florida and when you look at Tennessee. But somehow, some way, Tennessee's defense is going to have to limit DJ Lagway, which we'll break it down once we get there. But I'm taking LSU plus 9.5 to cover this one. Jackson, what was your score prediction if you gave one?
I believe I've got Alabama winning 28-20 in this one.
Let's see if LSU's offense can show up in this one. Speaking of Florida on the road to Kroger to play Kentucky. Billy Napier's gone. Dude, it's amazing to me because this is where we are right now, Jackson. We're talking about Florida, LSU, Auburn, and we're not even counting that Kentucky and South Carolina are going to be on the hot seat this coming year. We could very likely, and maybe even Ole Miss too, with Lane Kiffin in the discussions of a new head coach, maybe even Eli Drinkwitz, who could be taking a head coaching position. At this point, we could have 7 head coaches from now that will not be the head. At the beginning of the year, we had a complete slate. Now we have 7 new coaches that are going to be someplace else. I think it's going to happen, but don't quote me on it. Don't quote me on it yet. I do think, though, from what I'm hearing and what people have been saying, Josh Pate said, look out for a bombshell. And he said, pay attention to Lincoln Riley this weekend. Were you paying attention to Lincoln Riley, Jackson?
Yeah.
Pay attention to Lincoln Riley. Let's get to Florida. Florida 3.5-point favorites against Kentucky. Kentucky's dead in the freaking water. But they're going to find a way to keep this one a ball game. For some reason, this offense, where the hell did Kentucky's offense come from 2 weeks ago against Tennessee? And then where did it go last week against Auburn?
Ugh. It was disastrous.
Jackson, I'm going to read you the final stats from Kentucky against Tennessee. And it's either that Tennessee's, dude, Fortney's still in the freaking in chat. Tyler, your defensive personnel is ass water. Complete dog water. You made no adjustments in the secondary. And and I said that this was going to be a weakness for Tennessee in the preseason when I talked with John Dunn. which, by the way, we need to get him back on the show soon. You had 476 yards of total offense last week, 330 passing yards. Cutter Boley goes off for 5 touchdowns last week. You know what he does last week? Lays a goose egg. 18 to 29, $161, and has 2 interceptions and a touchdown.
Oh my God.
And by the way, they had just 240 yards of total offense.
Jeez. Oh man,
The fact that they won this football game says all you need to know about how bad Kentucky is.
God.
But
it's a train wreck in Lexington. But
Tyler, let me ask you this. Do you get rid of your secondaries coach, or do you make a change on the entire defensive staff? Do you get rid of Tim Banks and come? I like Tim Banks. I think he's a really good signal caller, but I think since that last game against Ohio State, I think Tim Banks has been taking some shots as of late. That's my opinion.
We'll wait and see what happens, but if that were me, I'd get rid of that secondaries coach.
Because I think Tim Banks is coaching safeties. I don't know who's coaching corners. Because Tyler can ask me in this one. Is Tim coaching? Is he coaching all DBs? Who's your corners coach? He said he'd make changes at the OC and DC position. I don't know about OC. I think offensive coordinator wise, you're fine. I don't think that there's anything wrong with what Joey Housel. I'm not even going to pronounce Housel. Help me out here, Jackson. Halzle.
Hauser.
Willie Martinez is your secondaries coach. You need to fire his ass.
Out. Get out, Martinez.
How the hell did we go from talking about Florida to talking about Tennessee? Oh, wait, we were talking about their offense. But anyways, I think DJ Lagway is going to struggle this upcoming weekend. I firmly believe it. I think Kentucky's defense is going to throw a lot of different looks in there, and they're going to find ways to confuse the hell out of DJ. I think Kentucky's pass rush is going to find ways to get after DJ Lagway, and I think they find a way to win this one on the road.
This game is going to be a struggle bus for both teams because they're just wanting to get through the 2025 year at this point. I think I'm going to go with Florida in a 17-14 fashion.
Anything can happen, dude. And anything is going to be likely to happen. Oh, shoot. My girlfriend is she was in the chat. Hey, babe. Hey, babe. I think Kentucky pulls off the upset, Jackson, believe it or not. I think they find a way to win, and I think they manage to claw their way into this one and get to 4. And they're going to find a way to get to 4 wins. They're going to beat Tennessee Tech next week. And hold on a minute, they could be going from a 3 or 4. Or I said that they were going to be 2-10 in the preseason, already with 3 wins, a massive one on the road at Jordan-Hare. Now you got Florida coming up, could potentially snag one there. Nice. You get to Tennessee Tech, you're sitting at 5-5 on the season, and you got to go on the road. But what's going to suck is your last 2 games is going to be at Vanderbilt and at Louisville, both top 15 teams in the nation.
Oh man. So I'm looking at the Florida-Kentucky series from 1987 to 2017. Florida is unbeaten, of course, but then you got 2018 to now. Kentucky is basically 4-3. Yes, we count the 2021 victory here at the Voice of College Football. But still, though, Florida's struggling against Kentucky on a constant basis. That's bad right there. Oh, man. So, yeah, it would not be surprising if Kentucky beats Florida again. I mean, like
Right.
either one. I mean, it's one of those games where you flip a coin at this point. So if like, Stoops in trouble, he can just go, well, I beat Florida for you. There you go.
Here's where I'm at, though. Mark Stoops has been there for 13 years.
Yeah.
It is time for a change, but is Kentucky willing to pull the trigger on it? That's essentially what
That's
you're
good.
going to have to answer for yourself.
That's a good question right there. Like, who you going to get for, like, who are your 5, 10, 15, 20 guys that you've got on your list? That's
Right.
something you want to think about.
I think Kentucky, if they decide to part ways, I would suggest, look, if Kentucky would have lost last week to Auburn, I think one thing would have happened. Mark Stoops would have been fired. John Summerall very likely would have been the new head coach. Now, let's say Kentucky pulls the upset here, which I do have them winning. Well, then the seat kind of cools off a little bit for Mark Stoops. It's still hot, but it kind of cools off for a little bit and says, okay, he's staying for 2026.
Yeah.
You're going to lose out on John Summerall, which I thought he would have been a great fit at Kentucky because he's a former defensive coordinator and a former player. I thought he would have brought a lot more energy than what Stoops does at this moment in time. Now, unfortunately, Summerall's either going to go to LSU or he's going to go to Auburn. So,
I mean, I see Summerall going to Auburn, especially when we're hearing about those Huntsville, Alabama ties that he's got, and the fact that his wife is an Auburn alumni.
isn't she from Huntsville?
Yeah.
Or is he from Huntsville?
I think they're both from Huntsville. Like I think I read something about Huntsville, Alabama with John Summerall, and that his wife's from there as well. Well, of course, Summerall coached at Troy, so I could see where they're both a little homesick and ready to come back home to Bama.
Man, I'm really excited for that, man. It's going to be a fun one. I'm stoked for what is going to happen. I'm stoked for what the future is going to hold for us here at SEC Live at the Voice of College Football as we wrap it up here. I do want to address, obviously, if you are a fan of South Carolina and if you are a guy that's coming from our Gamecocks Inside channel and you're wondering, why did we rebrand? Why are we doing this? You obviously know that I'm here right now. You've seen me before hosting some videos on SEC Live at the Voice of College Football. We got the stamp of approval. We will be doing SEC Live, and me and Jackson will be doing it for a little while. For how long? I would like to do it for as long as possible. We want to provide you guys with the best SEC content on the internet, and we will strive to do whatever it takes to do that. So those of you that are on there, we're now going to be under the inside the SEC. Is South Carolina Live going away? No. We're going to continue to finish out the season. I'm going to still give you guys post-game analysis, but we'll see what happens with the future of South Carolina Live, whether I decide to focus strictly on this or focus on something else. Anything can happen, man. This was a business decision that we made. This is nothing against Gamecock Nation. I love Gamecock Nation. I love all of our fans that are out there. Thank you guys so much for embracing me. I am so grateful to have gotten to know some of you over the past 5 months, ever since I've been here with the Voice of College Football. And it has been awesome getting to interact with a lot of you. Guys, our viewer rate has been incredible on the social medias. Almost 10 million engagements on the Inside Carolina page, now Inside the SEC page. I personally have gained, Jackson, you're not going to believe me on this, 250 new followers since the month of June. I've had over 4 million engagements on my content. Guys, we want to continue to provide that. It is nothing against Gamecock Nation. Well, guess what? This is the SEC, and in the SEC, it just means more. And we're going to bring you more of the best content available here on SEC Live with the Voice of College Football. My man Jackson Johnson is going to be rocking with us, man. I am so glad that we got to kick it off with a great show today. Thank you so much, Ori, for hopping on with us. You were awesome, man. Your story of resilience deserves to be shared with the world. So thank you so much, man, for hopping on with us, guys. Thank you so much for hopping on and talking some ball with us. Had almost 500 of you in here right now. So y'all do us a favor. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell notifications so that you are notified every time we go live here on SEC Live with the Voice of College Football. We'll post our best bets later on tonight. I'll have those up in as soon as possible. I have my power rankings up tonight. Got a lot to break down, though, guys. Make sure y'all do it. Y'all hit the like, share, subscribe. Follow us on all the socials. Follow Jackson at Jackson VOCFB. Let me pull up all of his socials right here. You can follow him on YouTube. Get him over to over 1,000 followers, or what do they call it? Subscribers on YouTube.
Subscribers on my personal channel on YouTube on Jackson Johnson 979. So I've got some magic on the Jacksonian. I might be hanging out with some Locked On Blue Jays hosts talking about the Blue Jays for the 2025 season and how that turned out for them. And of course, for more updates, what I've got going on my adventures with Lucas on the SEC channel, on SEC The Voice of College Football, and on Alabama with The Voice of College Football, the Jacksonian once-a-week calls on the Paul Feinbaum Show, and twice-a-week appearances on Jackson's World College Football on with Mountaineer Paul on Locked On West Virginia. As he talks about the Mountaineers, check me out, Jackson VOCFB on X/Twitter and on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543-908. Note to self, I have to change that Instagram handle.
I'm surprised you haven't changed. I got to change my handle on Instagram myself because I made that whenever I was in high school, man. But no, man, thank you guys so much for hopping on. Follow me on X at Lucas Hill SEC. Make sure y'all follow us at the Voice of College Football at THEVOCFB. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, y'all stay blessed and y'all don't stress. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much for hopping on.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Brada, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.